Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys how to do the value scale. Okay, I have already painted in my white and my black. Now when I give you guys the white and black, I'm going to give you a very small amount of the black. You don't need much. And then the white, you'll need basically, again, just a thumbnail worth of paint to get you through this activity. And you'll still have some paint left over. But the black, you really need very little. It's such a powerful color that you don't need much to do what you need to do. Okay, so so the white and the black are already painted in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here on the tenths. Or no, and I need to paint. I'm going to go ahead and paint in the blue. So we're going to use the blue for this scale. You can use, technically you can use other colors, but I want everybody to use the blue because you're going to be actually basically creating a value scale with using blue on your apple painting. So getting used to doing this with the blue would be very helpful for you when we go to do the actual painting. So what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and paint in this blue. So I'm just using the blue that I have left over from my color wheel. Again, I start painting from the inside and work my way to pushing the paint towards the edge. So that's how I can control it and make it a nice shape. Craftsmanship, as always, is part of your project grade. So we always want to try to do a nice, neat job. And I'm just going to keep spinning this around. Just makes it easier for me. Now, if you have noticed that some of your paint piles are kind of drying out, a lot of times there might be like kind of a dry film over the top, and if you kind of just puncture that top dry layer, there's wet paint underneath, so just a little tip. But again, remember, we're not washing off or cleaning off these paints off of our plates. We're just going to keep mixing and adding colors on top, because once these paint piles dry up, you can just put new paint right on top and it won't mix. Okay, so there's my blue. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my first tint here. So it says color plus, or white plus one color. So remember, when you're mixing colors, I'm going to dry this brush really well. When you're mixing colors, you start with your lightest color first. So what I'm going to do, got my plate here, I'm going to start with, and I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to try to keep this kind of around here, around the blue pile. I'm going to start with about 2 scoops of my white, so I'm going to take my scoop off the side of the white and place it over here next to where my blue is. Okay? And then what I'm going to do, without washing my brush, I'm going to dip that brush just a little bit into the pile of blue. So you can see I just got literally just a little speck of blue right there. Okay? So again, because blue is the darker color in this formula, blue is going to make a big change to this pile of white. And I put 2 scoops of the white in there. So what I'm going to do is mix that. So I'm getting like a pale blue. It's a little hard to see on the screen. I'm going to add probably just another, just to make a little bit more of a change, another scoop of the blue. I don't know, not a big scoop, but just like a little speck or dot of the blue, and mix that back in there. All right, that's better. All right, I don't want it to look white, but I don't want it to look blue. So I'm going to just mix that up. Once I get that, then I'm going to paint this in here. So again, I'm going to start in the inside and push it out. And to do the next one, what do you think I'm going to do? says white plus 2 color. What do you think I'm going to do now? I'm going to add more what? Add more blue. So I'm just going to work in that same pile. Again, take another kind of dot of blue, add it in here, mix that up, and I don't think that's too much of a change, so I'm going to add another one. Another dot again, mix that in there. So you should see on this scale, as you work on it, it should gradually get darker as it goes over here to the right. I need to add a little bit more. So once I painted that on there, it wasn't enough. All right, that's better. So basically it should be getting darker as it goes over to the right. So I'm going to paint this one in, and then I'm going to start giving you guys your black and your white. So you can start this too. For the shade side, so these are the tents. Tent is a color plus white. For the shade side of this scale, you're going to be mixing blue with black. So which color do you think you're going to start with first, blue or the black? Blue. So you'll start with the blue first, since it's the lighter in the formula, and you add small amounts of the blue to, or the black to it. And I'll demo that too once I get you guys your paint distributed. So I'll let that sit there. I'll get you guys your paint, and then I'll keep demoing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and demo how to do these shades here. So I've got my tents done. I need to do the shades. So I'm going to be mixing blue and black together, and since blue is the lighter color in this formula, I'm going to start with blue first. So again, I'm going to take my blue, couple scoops of blue from the side of my blue pile, and without washing my brush off, I am going to literally, black makes a big change. It's kind of hard to see since I've got blue paint on here, but I'm just going to put literally a little dot of this black in my pile of blue. Now you'll notice, because we're using the blue for our tents and shades, that when you do these shades especially, they do start to blend together, so it can be kind of hard. So I'm just going to add another dot of this black in this pile. And I've got my blue pile next to this shade of blue. So I think that looks pretty good. So again, I'm going to start painting from the middle. And I'm going to push that paint to the outside edge. I'm just going to keep turning this worksheet so I can get a good angle with my brush. So push that paint to the edge so I can control it and keep everything nice and neat. Keep painting this in here. Alright, so I'm going to just kind of even this out. Even out the brush marks. And then to make my next one, now this one's going to get pretty dark, I'm just going to add more black to this pile, to this shade that I've already made. I'm going to wash my brush off, squeeze all that water off the brush again. You don't want it wet. I'm going to start by just getting another sort of dot of blue, or black, I'm sorry, and then I'm going to add it to my pile here. So I'm just working off the same pile. And that's not too big of a change, so I'm going to add another dot of this black. That, I think, will do it. So once I get mixed up, paint this in. Again, because blue is already such a dark color, it does get kind of hard to do these shades. So just do the best you can. I went ahead and added just a little bit more black in my pile. After I painted on, I didn't think it was dark enough. So start in the middle, push that paint to the outside edge. And so your job, guys, get this done. If you didn't get this finished, then you can come in for XHBL or Open Lab to finish it. Obviously, I'm not going to grade these right away just because they need to dry first. Paint that in. Okay, so there's my finished value scale of blue. It's a little hard to see because it's still wet. So, but I have the finished one up on the board also too. You guys can look at if you need a reference. But once you're finished with your entire worksheet, guys, you want to wash your brush off real well in your bucket of water. Again, make sure that you're putting your brush all the way at the bottom of that bucket so you can open up those bristles and get the paint out. Dry it off again really good. So dry that off, and you want to take your hands and just reshape that point on the brush. That's the most important step, because with brushes, they will dry and stay however they looked when you last saw it. So if you had a nice point on your brush, when you leave it to dry, it will be there tomorrow. But to make sure that I don't smush this in my bag when I put it away, put that cap back on there, and that will prevent, so put that cap back on your brush. That'll keep your point intact. Got a little runaway brush hair here. So reshape that, put that cap on, and then put that in the bottom of your bag. To put your paint away, what you guys are going to do is you guys are going to, let me zoom out a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that second plate, put this right on top of here, and take some masking tape. I got to find the end here. This is a new roll. Ah, here it is. So take a couple pieces of the masking tape, and you're just going to kind of just tape them together just in about 2 spots, and that should be about it. We just don't want the plate to move off of it. We're not looking for a perfect seal or anything. Just keep it on there. And then that is going to go back in your Ziploc bag with your brush with the cap on it. I'm going to try to take the air out, because air will dry out your acrylic paint. So after you do that, then wait till everybody at your table's done. One person from your table can take all your painting supplies and stack them back up wherever your table or wherever your class period keeps their painting supplies. But that's that. And then I'll show you guys where you need to put your worksheets.